Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest Gunners Pub Live, Gunnerstown Pub Live. I'm joined by Gav. Gav, you all right? How you doing, mate?
I've had worse Sundays, mate. Come on, let's be honest. We've had worse Sundays.
Now, this is obviously the Gunnerstown post-match pub, and given that Bojo told us that we are going on lockdown from Thursday, this is where you need to be at, where you're going to have all of your Arsenal banter in the virtual pub, and that's where we're at. So, Gav, we need to start this off by talking about the most important thing. What beer are you drinking? I'm going for a Ching Chow.
See, I'm going to get completely slaughtered for this, right? But indoors, I drink mainly Foster's. Because when I start drinking the Italian exports that I like, it just costs too much money. So indoors, I'm just on the Foster's, mate.
Fair enough. I don't mind Foster's, actually. I'll probably get pasting like you, but I don't mind a kind of occasional Foster's. It's an easy drink, isn't it? It's a cheap drink. Nice one to have.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in like there's too many beer snobs out there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but there you go. But who cares, mate? We've just won 1-0 at Old Trafford. Right, and let's be honest, Chris, we deserved that, mate, didn't we?
We did. We certainly did. I tell you what, we've already got some people that have joined us on Facebook. We've already got some people that have joined us on Periscope and Twitter. You can find us. We're live on YouTube as well. Steve Heath, big shout out to you. Mike Dean gives us a penalty at Old Trafford. Can 2020 get any weirder? I think I tweeted the same sort of thing. It's like Mike Dean, penalty, Old Trafford, and we're not the ones moaning about it. Like, what is this? What is this weird hybrid world that we've found ourselves in?
It's almost like opposite world, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, all the jokes today, and even my little competition that I run on Twitter was all about what minute Man United are going to get a penalty. But let's be honest, they didn't even get in our box to much to even like think about giving them a penalty. And if we go to the goal, I mean, we might as well go to the goal straight away.
Yeah, let's do it.
It was a penalty. It was a penalty. Yeah. You can't. There's no moans. There's no whinges. There's no nothing. It didn't need VAR. It was a blatant stonewall penalty.
Yeah, of course. The ball comes across, and Bellerin was very clever, actually. And Pogba, this is where we've seen it enough from Arsenal players, haven't we, over time? You've got a ball coming across, and you've got a player that just gets in front. And Bellerin was very clever there because he nips in front, and then Pogba. If it's a defender, they do that, put their hands up, and then kind of just think, what am I doing? I'm just gonna jockey them. But Pogba, creative midfielder, puts his foot out. No real questions. VAR didn't even give it half of a look. Mike Dean. I mean, I'm surprised Mike Dean didn't do the really sad Mike Dean face, recognizing that he had to give us a penalty. But ultimately, it was what we deserved, wasn't it? So let's rewind it, mate. Let's talk about from the start of the game. And I'm going to hold my hands up here. On our WhatsApp back channels on the Gunnerstown Pub, a shout out to Paul.
You weren't too positive, were you, Chris? Let's be honest. You weren't too positive when you saw the lineup.
Myself and Warren was. We are not fans of players like El Neni. Certainly, I'm not a fan of Lacazette. I mean, I'm going to get to Lacazette. I don't think he had a good game, but I saw that lineup and I thought, you've got the pace of Martial. You've got the pace of Rashford. You've got the pace of Greenwood. You've got that diamond, which worked for them so well against Leipzig. I genuinely thought that we would be in trouble here. But I've got to be honest, that's one of the worst Man United performances I think I've seen at Old Trafford.
Depends how far you want to go back, really, doesn't it? But like I say, I mean, I didn't really make too much comment. As you saw, like I say, with yourselves or with my mates or with on the old social media about the starting lineup, I tend not to be honest with you. But Arteta got it right. You've got to throw your hands up in the air and say that the midfield partnership of Partey and El Neni was probably the best midfield partnership I've seen for a bloody long time.
Yeah, it really worked.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It really worked. The El Neni, I mean, I think even, again, going back to the back channels, even myself and were saying El Neni, that was his best game in an Arsenal shirt, arguably, because what amazed me and what I really loved, progressive passing of the ball. How many times have we actually seen Mo Elneny pick the ball up, look up and play a forward pass? It basically never happens. But I wonder, I'm going to put this to you, mate. Do you think that Arteta, his faith in him, is only now starting to come to fruition as to the potential of footballer that Elneny could be? I mean, if we get more forward passing, some of the progressive stuff that we saw from him, you know, you're almost looking at Xhaka and Ceballos and saying, lads, you're Europa League second fiddle.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Arteta's obviously seen something in training, and he's been very loyal to Elneny this season, to be honest with you. He's got lots of game time, and I just think that Elneny, even though he's probably not one of the most talented midfielders that we've ever had at Arsenal, I think he's got a football brain. And I think he's bought into Arteta. He's come back. Arteta's gave him a clean sheet, right? And he's been doing the business in training, obviously, right? But I think he's one of these football players. He's got a bit of a brain on him. So
Absolutely.
he's actually taking in the instructions that Arteta's given him. So because he's listening and taking in the instructions, he's getting the game time. And I thought it was a perfect pairing today. I mean, if you think at some points they were up against 3 or 4 Man United midfielders down the middle, right? And it was us, especially in the first half, who were playing in their half. I mean, what can you say to that? Do you know what I mean? It was a perfect game plan and the perfect players on the pitch. It was perfect execution. We was unlucky, weren't we, first half?
Yeah,
like I say, I mean, how many chances did we have, Chris? 3, 4?
Well, I'm look, got the stats up here. So the entire game, United had 8 shots. We had 7. So still a little bit sort of shot shy. 2-2 in terms of shots on goal. And United had a bit more possession, but I think most of their possession came after that they scored their goal, which you'd expect, really, wouldn't you? You know, if we were behind at the Emirates, then you'd expect us to boss it with most possession. But we didn't really look massively troubled, I didn't think. But you're right, that midfield party, I mean, we didn't see it against Leicester because they almost completely bypassed him, didn't they? I'm sure you, Woz and Mike will do many sort of tactics pods as we go on, talking about the way in which we set up the midfield. But I don't know about you, but when I was watching that game against Leicester, and again, lots of other podcasts have talked about this as well, we just seemed to ignore Partey. But today, he was the main man. And I feel like he's never going to lose the ball when he gets it. He's just brilliant. No. Every time he got the ball, I thought, yeah, he's got it. You know, no one's getting it off him. It was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think the difference between Partey between today and the Leicester game was he was looking at getting forwards a lot more when he had the ball, and he was looking at getting the ball in more forward positions and retaining the ball in more forward positions. I think, if anything, Arteta was probably a little bit surprised by the first half because Ole set that up to really go at us. Ole set that team up to go at us from the start, and in fairness, we turned the tables on them.
We did.
So
we did.
Do you know what I mean? You could tell. I mean, he set up a diamond. He set up 4 up front. He's setting up to make sure that we're not playing the ball out nicely from the back. And to be fair, it completely backfired on Ole today.
Yeah.
And it completely went Arteta's way. But like I say again, I'm not sure whether Arteta actually set out to plan that. I'm not sure whether he set us up to counter attack, but which is down to the players, isn't it? And the players did the job today, Chris. You got to put you got to throw your hands up and say the players did their bloody job today. Every single fucking one of them.
Yeah. Well, can I just? I'm going to get this out of the way now. I'm not sure Lacazette did his job. Every time the ball comes to him, it's rebounding off of him. His ability, his hold up play is rubbish. His one good bit was he picks up the ball and he just pushed. You know the Aubameyang chance where he's just sort of floated it past the post. I think it was about 10 minutes before he scored. I thought that was Aubameyang probably should have put that way or at least hit the target. And Lacazette did well to feed him the ball. But apart from that, I think we're getting to the stage where we need to start looking at his contribution because it doesn't add pace. Like the one thing that I was worried about before the game is I thought that United would come to us, we would sit deep and then try and spring a counter, like the old rope-a-dope. But that never really happened because we sort of pressed them higher. Like as soon as they played balls from their defence to their midfield, there was an Arsenal player, whether it's Tierney, whether it's Partey, whether it's El Neni, whether it's Gabriel at times, who by the way, absolutely immense. I mean, a quick shout out here to Julian Gibbons on Facebook. Quick shout out to good Julian Gibbons on Facebook, who said that Gabriel man of the match, and I put something on the live feed saying who was the man of the match. I've got Julian and also Gambino Snitch also saying Gabriel man of the match. He was immense, wasn't he? Talk to me about Gabriel, mate.
Oh, superb, absolutely superb. And the thing was, I mean, even once you got the booking, and like I say, I know we've done one dodgy tackles. I think it was around 75-80 minutes, around that sort of mark. He knew what he was doing. He was getting his head on things. I mean, I thought the whole defence was absolutely brilliant today. I thought they was good going forwards. They were good pressing. Bellerin, Tierney done a superb job today, as they have been all season, let's be honest. But like I say, Gabriel, and you can't really escape Holding as well. I mean, I thought Holding...
I'm not a big fan of his long ball distribution, but I thought that was Steve Bold-esque, and not just because of his receding hairline. Like it was very Steve Bold-esque. Sorry, mate, go on, I interrupted.
Yeah, but like I say, I mean, if we're going to go back to Lacazette, he was unlucky with one. He had a swing at one, and it got a deflection before it come to him, and he was grabbing the ball and chasing back on the halfway line, where I don't particularly want to see him, and he was chasing high. So when you're looking at the high press that we did, especially in the first half, I think it's a little bit... How can I put it? I'm trying to put it nicely, Chris, because I like you. I think it's a little bit rude to be slagging off Lacazette for his contribution. When he was, like I say, he's the, when there's a high press, and when we're doing the high press, which worked, it worked well in the first half, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, right. Lacazette is the key man in the high press because he's the man in the middle. So, as much as you and my good friend was the wazzer, right, want to have a dig at him, I just think he does a good job at that, and he does a good job at trying to hold the ball up when we're breaking as well. So, yeah, I want to see him. I want to see a striker get. I want to see a number 9 that's going to get 20 goals, 25 goals a season. But he's doing a job, and we done the job in the first half, mate, didn't we? Come on.
Yep. We did, but I tell you what, we're just going to have to just agree to disagree, because in absolute sort of recognition of the efforts that you put in, I went full sort of notepad on some of the bits, and I've got at least 6 times in which Lacazette, the ball's played to him, and he either loses possession, falls over, complains, the ball just rebounds. I just don't think it works. Now, what I will say in defence, what I will say is that sometimes if that ball gets pushed up to Oba, he probably does the same thing. He probably doesn't, have a touch and then beat a man. That's just not who he is, because Aubameyang is somebody who's better out of possession, if that makes sense. Like the archetypal situation we want to be in is the likes where Bellerin, or the likes where Bellerin or Tierney are getting in behind the fullbacks, and then you've got Aubameyang racing in, beating the defender. So think about the Rapid Vienna goal. So the likes of Bellerin getting in behind and then cutting back to Aubameyang. That's where we want Aubameyang, but we're not going to have Aubameyang, balls being pinged into him with a defender right on his back like Maguire, where he's going to control it, like the Giroud wall pass type stuff that we used to see. Giroud was brilliant at hold up play. It wasn't anywhere near the level of Aubameyang in terms of finishing. He was frustrating as hell, but you knew that if the ball was going to be pinged up to Giroud, he will hold it up. I just don't see that in Lacazette. So I think we're due an upgrade.
I take it as a team performance. Do you know what I mean? And as a team performance, especially in the first half, we completely dominated them in first half. We completely dominated the first half. And like I say, up until and indeed after we scored the goal, we probably had the better of the second half as well. And
Yeah.
it was down to a certain performance. And you don't know what Arteta is saying to him. Do you know what I mean? If I had any criticism from any player in the first half, it would actually be Willian. Because I thought Willian's balls and the possession he got, his final ball was absolutely awful in the first half. I think we could have probably scored one or two in the first half if Willian's distribution in the first half would have been better. He's literally the only person that I've got any form of criticism about a fabulous win at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll make you absolutely right, mate. Again, I'm going to refer to my really geeky bits of notes.
Go to your notes.
So I'm just going to reel these off quickly. 4 minutes, poor from Willian to lose possession. On 4 minutes as well. Ball into Willian, promising build up, loses it in the final third. 6 minutes, Willian, poor corner from front touch. Bearing in mind, people were going mental at Pepe in the Dundalk game for putting a poor corner in. I saw 3 or 4 from Willian there. 12 minutes, Willian gives the ball away. What else we got? Willian, to be fair, 38 minutes was probably his best bit, which was ball into Aubameyang, a little touchback, and then he's had a shot. It just clips the top of the bar. So maybe a bit unlucky, but someone of his quality, you probably expect him to be scoring that, don't you? Or am I being a bit harsh?
Well, I mean, if we want to compare players, right, if Pepe had that chance, do you think he would have scored?
Yes, 100%. It's on his, to be fair, if the ball presents itself there, Pepe's left-footed, so he's going to be putting that away, and he's got a very good finish on him. But, yeah.
I mean, like I say that, but again, we're being highly, highly critical of one player who done a job, and again, we won 1-0 at fucking Old Trafford.
Yeah, and let's also put this... Go on. Let's put this in context, though, because how many games is it? 26. It's something ridiculous. We haven't beaten Man United since 2006. It feels like even terrible United teams, like under Moyes or the Van Gaal teams, we've gone up there thinking, actually, this team's no great shakes, and they've ended up getting a draw or beating us. But today, it just felt like Arteta. He just knows. Arteta is a tactically good manager. He's a structurally good manager, but also I think he's just better than Solskjaer. He just knows this sort of game was. We can say this in hindsight. This sort of game was absolutely tailor-made for Arteta to do a bit of a mind fuck on Solskjaer, because Solskjaer is one of these, come on lads, spirit of Manchester type, but Arteta's a tactician.
Yeah, no, I mean it. I think it's something like the last 4 or 5 games now we haven't actually lost to Man United. I think it was 2 wins and 2 draws out of the last 4 or whatever. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But I'm not overly saying, look, we've got better players than Man United. But when I looked at the Man United team, I'm not looking at the team of 99 and the team of the early 2000s who were actually really, really good. I don't think Man United are anywhere near that sort of level. They're not anywhere near that sort of level. And
of course not.
The fact that we can go up there, dominate 75% of the game, come away with a 1-0 win, you just can't complain. And you just can't see them really. If they carry on in that sort of form, you can't see them finishing above us in the table this year.
No, it's a weird season though, isn't it? Because we lost to Leicester last week. Aston Villa had an absolutely brilliant start and then Southampton gave them a good pasting today, although I know the final score was 4-3. We've been unlucky against Man City. We've all asked us. Everyone's been there's been a lot of navel gazing around the result against Man City, against Liverpool. And I think a lot of us, when we then had the Leicester thing, like that, I don't know about you, but the Leicester thing hit me. It hit me hard because I thought to myself, they weren't amazing. They sat back and just sucker punched us. How many more teams are going to do that? And I wasn't sure about the team selection that Arteta made. And then I saw this today and I wasn't about the team selection. The amazing thing that results like today do is now I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm looking at Mulder next on Thursday and thinking, Arteta can rotate. I've got faith the guy's going to do it. We got Aston Villa at the weekend. I've gone from Leicester. You start to question these things to this is an absolutely brilliant result, and the morale of the team, like they'll be buzzing tomorrow or on Tuesday when they take to the training pitch, won't they?
And the other thing is, what you've got to bear in mind is the fact that we've had some absolutely horrendous away fixtures to start the season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're now going into the rest of the season having been at Old Trafford, been at Main Road or whatever they want to bloody call it now in Manchester, right? And been at Liverpool, right? So we've probably got the 3 hardest away games out of the way. That's out the system. Do you know what I mean? So we've now got to sort of like have the rest of the season. And you're right. And I saw I saw a very, very good interview with Arteta this morning, and he was saying that we've gone from a team that people think they're going to come and roll us over to a team that now people are worried and people are now going to block up against us. So it's now down to us, and he said it's now down to me in training to make sure the players are more pushful going forwards, are more braver going forwards, less scared to make mistakes when we're going forwards. And it was only like a 2-minute interview, but the way he said and the way he come out with that Arsenal were back to being a team that other teams are worried about, I thought was a huge thing. And I think he's only just sort of realised now that teams like Leicester, who have finished above us, 2 or 3 times out the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
They're now at the point where they want to block up against us. So it can be more adventurous.
Yeah, it can. I think you're right, and I think also like I need to temper. This is one of those things, isn't it? Like I'm now in the post-match euphoria of a big win, a morale-boosting win. And this time last week, well, not this time last week, because we played Leicester obviously in the evening kickoff, which, by the way, absolute farce. Pay-per-view, the fact that they're continuing that. Let's not go down that rant, but I think you and I are both on this. I think most football fans are both on the same page now. Just a public service announcement. Sky, BT, broadcasters, bin this off as quickly as possible, please. Fans don't want it. We already spend a fortune as it is to watch our football teams. You're just going to drive people to illegal streams. Find an alternative. This doesn't work. But anyway, we move on from that. Like last week, I was so down. This week I'm so elated, and there's somewhere it feels like we need to be somewhere in the middle, don't we? Because Arteta he's moving us along in this journey, and we're going in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, well, no, we are. I mean, I was more frustrated with regards to sort of some of the refereeing decisions last week, as much as about anything else, to be fair. But you can't. Nobody can say, well, apart from that rat from Blackburn who thinks people who pretends to be an Arsenal supporter just to wind Arsenal supporters up. Nobody can say that Arteta isn't doing a good job. I mean, we know we've got players there that we would like to see better, and we've seen better over the last 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years. We know there's players there that really need sort of removing, and we really need better in their position. But he's getting the best out of everybody. I mean, you think El Nini was on loan last year, and he's come back. And like I say, I mean, if I had to name the 3 best players today, El Nini would be one of those 3. So
yeah, well, let's do that then.
Doing something right.
So, mate, can you do that then for me? You do yours and then I'll do mine. And again, just to chuck one in, Matthew Leach on Facebook has given us a shout out on Party Man of Match. We've also had, I'm going to give some shout outs now. Let's talk about, we had, there's too many people that are commenting stuff. People saying El Neni, Man of the Match. I mean, it's it's not a bad shout. Again, as I said earlier, Gambino, Sitch, and Julie Gibbons saying that Gabriel was man. Give me your 3 players. You've only got 3 to pick out. Go for it.
Oh shit! You're really putting this on me, Chris. Yeah.
Do you want me to do mine then?
Well,
you can do mine, and you can have a think about it.
No. I'll do mine. It was Gabs, El Neni, and Party, and it was basically. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Gabs, El Neni, and Party for me.
That's why you wanted to get in there before me, wasn't it? Because that's the 3 I was going to choose. Certainly, Partey. What I love about Partey is that, as I said, he's just so composed on the ball. I don't feel like when he gets the ball, we're going to lose it. It feels like he's strong, he's physical. He gets the ball and he sees a pass. Some of the little balls, there's little things like he's in close confined space with a player, and even if the player's sort of closing their legs so they don't get nutmegged, he just sort of flicks the ball over them, like over their knee or something. He's quite an impressive footballer, and we need to see more of that. Question for you though, because I think somebody also said it on the Facebook, because we need to look forward, because we're not going to play teams like Man United away where the emphasis is on them
defense,
to come forward, and therefore we're gonna go to away games where teams are going to say, all right, you break us down even though we're at home. Would you play a 3 in midfield? Do you think we should be sticking to this 3 at the back or moving to the 4 at the back?
It's tricky. The thing is at the moment, even though we didn't have that greatest shakes against Leicester and we lost to Liverpool and Man City, that kind of formation is kind of working for us. And the fact that if you increase that 3 to a 5, most people would have Tierney and Bellerin in there. So the fact that we've got them 2 bombing forwards and them 2 are very consistent at the moment, both in defence and in attack. If we went back to a solid back 4 at the back, that would probably hinder them going forwards. But again, you've Arteta must, and he needs to learn very, very quickly where to change the team and the team formation and the team lineup against teams that are going to sit back and block against us. And again, going back to the Arteta interview that I spoke about earlier, it is literally down to the fact that teams are now scared of us. Teams are blocking up and sitting back and putting 8 or 9 behind the ball because they're scared of what we're going to do to them. So it's a compliment in that respect. But again, even today, I thought El Nini done his fair share of balls going forwards, balls spreading wide. Partey done the same, balls going forward, balls spreading wide. And the fact that we've got someone like Ceballos and someone like Xhaka sitting on the bench, well, it's good. It's good.
It's good. It's rotation. It's what we need. We need a squad. We're going to get injuries.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, we're feeling good. I am feeling good at this. So let's look ahead. So we're on sort of 28 minutes, and normally we do about 30 minutes for this virtual pub. Again, like I'm reiterating to everybody, please stick stuff in the comments. Join us more regularly. We'll try and involve everyone as much as possible because this is a virtual pub. We're stuck at home for the next month, certainly for the month of November. So we need each other. We need the catharsis of Arsenal, fellow Arsenal fans. And join us on Facebook, join us on Twitter through Periscope, and also join us through YouTube. Make sure that you follow us on the Gunnerstown link as well, because we're going to be post-matching for all of these. And then also Gav and Woz and Mike do a fantastic tactics pod, like genuinely getting into some of the details of it. But looking ahead then, mate, as we are sort of coming towards the end of our virtual pub, mainly because I'm running out of my Ting Tao and I'm going to need to go downstairs and cook some food for my wife in a minute, and you're going to need to have your Ruby. Mulder at home and then Villa away. General thoughts as to where you think Arteta goes with the team. Does he go strong against Mulder on Thursday? And then or does he rotate massively and then we see if we can give Villa an absolute pasting? Because let's be honest, Villa are probably going to try and sit deep like the likes of Sheffield United and stuff like that. And they have pace like Grealish and Barkley to counter.
Yeah, no. Mulder is away, yeah?
Yeah, no, it's a home.
Like
Two home games.
Huh?
2 home games.
Oh, Mulder's at home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just, when you're not planning on going games, you kind of lose track on whether we're home or away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's really weird because you're not planning on doing anything, so you kind of lose track of it all. To be honest, it's a weird one because obviously if we beat Mulder, it's 9 points in the group and it's job done. So
yeah, exactly.
I would almost expect a similar
game.
He
can rest players then for the following games, can't he? So
yeah, I would think a similar sort of lineup to what we did against Dundalk, to be fair, and probably a similar sort of bench just for a little bit of security. I'd certainly think that Leno will be keeping his bum warm that game, and then for Villa, like you say, you know what? I almost hate to admit this, Chris, right? And this is like a bit sad of me saying, I like Barkley and Grealish.
Me too.
I like them.
Grealish should be an absolute beast in our team.
I like them. I like their work rate. I like their aggression. I like the fact that they've got a bit of finishing about them. They've got a little bit of class about them. They're almost like an almost decent Jack Wilshere at Jack Wilshere's prime. And I kind of like players like that. And then if you want to go back a little bit further, I'm sure the older boys will sort of say there's almost like a little bit about Liam Brady about them. Do you know what I mean? They've got the touch and they've got a little bit of class about them, and they've got a little bit of bite in there as well. So it's going to be tricky, and for that, I would like to see us block the midfield up or even bypass it. Yeah. So it's a weird one. I mean, obviously you're agreeing with me that we're going to have the similar sort of lineup against Mulder as we did against Dundalk, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
So
I think it'll be. Well, actually, I think he might go a bit stronger. Actually, to be fair, and Arnie Arnson on Facebook has said Runarsson will play against Mulder. I think he will. He'll want to close it off. So I've got a feeling it'll be the likes of Leno in goal. Because the thing is, once you've secured the thing, you can play all the kids, can't you? But he'll probably rotate a little bit. But we do need to be mindful of this because we need to start getting some results. It's been a bit stuttery, hasn't it? You know, we've had defeat against Liverpool, win against Sheffield United, defeat to Man City. We've lost to Leicester. We've beaten United. We need to get a run of 5 or 6 games, and our next few Premier League games are Villa at home, Leeds away, Wolves at home. Not sure who's after that. Then we've got Tottenham away then on 5th of December. So we need to go into that game. Again, I'm projecting a little bit. We need to go into that game really on a good run of form. So I do wonder if he'll want to get the group sewn up by rotating a bit. But ultimately, tonight, it's been a lovely night. You're going to have your Ruby. I'm going to have my steak and ale pie. I've thoroughly enjoyed, as usual, the virtual pub. Thank you to everybody who's put stuff on the comments too, because it's really, really good to actually share this with everybody, because that's the bit that I love. It's, I miss going to the football, and I miss not just being in a little circle of mates and talking about the result, whether it's catharsis because we've lost or whether it's jubilation because we've won. Absolutely love it. So, mate, thank you very, very much. I'm sure we're going to talk again. Thank you, everyone else, for joining us, and hopefully you've enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to us, on our podcast, and hopefully we see you again next time. Gav, thanks, sir.
1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Take care of yourself, mate. I'll speak to you later in the week, all right? It's like I say, it's just what it is. You know, we've highlighted a few bad things, which, like I say, we will do. All fans will do, but we've just won 1-0, mate. And if we was up there now, we would be walking off to the train station or the the nearest Irish bar like Arsenal fans love, and we'd be very happy. So, and hopefully everybody will be happy tomorrow and wherever a good Monday, despite the lockdowns. Do you know what I mean? Let's just get on with it and support things we love.
Indeed, like join us on the Thursday night. So we're all going into lockdown on Thursday, but you know what? We've got Mulder at home. Hopefully, the lads you can join the lads on Thursday night, and we can all be celebrating another win. Up the Arsenal. See you next time.
Up the Arsenal.